hard time deciding if Ace is trying to like pretty much mess with Jeremiah because he sees how much of a gaslighter he is, or if he's into Huda. These are some things that we're going to talk about today. This is Bits of Banter with Antoinette. On this channel, we talk about reality TV, pop culture, celebrity gossip, basically like any type of tea and just any type of banter that I'm like really interested in at the moment. Today we're going to be talking about Love Island Season 7, Episode 3. The main highlights, the big points, the things that are tea, the things that are juicy. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you like content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell at the top so you don't miss any banter from me, because you definitely don't want to be missing this banter. Let's get into this episode today. Where we had left off from episode 2 was that most of the men had gotten up to say that they were interested in Cierra, and none of the girlies got up to say that they were interested in Charlie, which was embarrassing for Charlie. Okay, that was a little bit embarrassing. Embarrassing, okay, for him. But at the same time, like, I really don't understand why they keep bringing these British men on Love Island USA. Okay, we're really looking for relationships that can last. And honestly, Love Island UK already has a hard enough time lasting when they are already in the same country. I said it. Okay, so he was not getting any play. Charlie was not getting any play. No girl got up for him. I was a little bit surprised that Chelley didn't get up, but I really just think she was like, I'm not trying to be stuck into a couple with... This is what I'm thinking. I'm not trying to be stuck into a couple with Charlie when I'm really interested in Ace. And we already know that Yulissa has left the building unceremoniously, and Ace is a free agent now. You know? So then we also have... We know that Cierra ends up picking Nick, and now we're going into the fallout of it all, of like pretty much, and we get a point where Olandria and Bella-A end up having a conversation, and then they end up noticing that Huda is crying. And this is the part where, like, I told you guys yesterday how I felt about Huda being upset about what Olandria said. Olandria was not being mean in this moment at all when she was like, hey, let's just chill. Let's just breathe a second. And honestly, I wrote down everything that she said, Olandria said, and it really was her just being like, okay, what we're not going to do right now is we're not going to act like us girls are like, poor us. Like, we're trying to keep our head up high and act like we don't give a fuck about these men. Okay. And literally, Huda had said all these things while being like, oh my God, you know, you don't have. And so when Olandria, after Huda had been acting really flipping weird, saying like, y'all just a bunch of bad kids, you know, I'm proud of you, brownie points to Jeremiah for the fact that he didn't get up. Okay. Ike Turner, sure. Keep him, honestly, keep him. She's like, I don't like this. The way that, like, these, you know, saying all that about, like, pointing to the girls. Y'all deserve some real men. You don't even have a real man. Hold on. You actually don't even know if you have a real man. Okay. But, and I also don't think Huda was trying to be rude either. Let me put that out there. I think that she was just a little bit excited, a little bit too excited at that, about her man staying with her. But also I think she was trying to be supportive. And Olandria backs me up on that. So then Olandria says, you don't have to play that. As well as Chelley also says before Olandria even speaks up, she's like, it's just a game. And then Huda says, what do you mean? And Olandria is saying, I'm saying like we're not upset. She's like, Olandria says, I'm saying like we're not upset. Literally calm like that. And then Huda says, nah, I'm just saying. And Olandria interrupts her and she says, no, you're being supportive. You know, you're being supportive and I love that. But it's okay. Like she's saying like, let's not do this, okay? And then Olandria says, we'll have a nice little chat later. Basically being like, we're going to cry and like have a nice little tea about this later and like eat up these men later. But right now we're trying to act like we're like, whatever. You know, whatever. We don't care. We're the prize. Like, you're acting like these men are the prize and they're not. Okay? Like, heavy on the not. And so I honestly feel like she was just trying to be like, you're doing a little bit too much. We're already embarrassed. We're already embarrassed, you know? So we're trying to like save face right now and like hold our head up high. and you're causing, it's already a spectacle and you're making it more of a spectacle. Like, so let's not, I think she was trying to do it in the nicest way possible. And there were so many people on TikTok who were trying to call Olandria a mean girl, which I was like, I'm not here for this. I'm not here for this mean girl drama thing, okay? But then also, Olandria, when she found out that Huda was upset, and Huda's being like, oh, she's so rude. Olandria was not rude. Olandria was not rude. Like, literally in the moment she needed to say something, and she said something. And so Huda, Olandria goes up to her, talks to her, and she's like, hey, I was not, and Olandria seemed genuinely upset. She's like, I'm not a mean girl. I'm not like that. I feel so bad. Like, that's not what I was trying to do at all. I was just more like trying to be like, we'll talk about this later. Like, you know, like, I don't want the men to see us like this. Like, she was so chill and she felt so bad about it. So I just was like, I still was pretty annoyed with Huda because I was like, this is just immature. Olandria was not trying to be rude. Yes, maybe you felt embarrassed, but doesn't mean that somebody did something wrong. Like, your feelings aren't facts. Okay? Your feelings aren't facts. Everybody let that sink in. Okay, sunk. Good, let's move on. So then they end up squashing it like that. Done, over, squashed. As it flipping should be, honestly, as it flipping should be. Then another part that I thought was interesting is Nick still has not talked to Bella-A, and Bella-A is like really not interested in talking to him, but I feel like he was just really trying to avoid the conversation. He does end up talking to her and he's like, hey, I just like got up because like I'm interested in Cierra, but I'm still interested in you. And Bella-A was like, but you had literally just told me that basically you were so interested in me that I would not have expected you to get up and leave our couple, which I think is a big thing because, and we're going to pivot a little bit. I think this is a big part of it because when Olandria talks to Taylor about it and Taylor's like, hey, I'm kind of like, it's kind of weird, or it's kind of like, doesn't make sense or that you have like a double standard, that the fact that you got up and kissed somebody in that ass challenge, but when I got up to say like, hey, I'm interested in exploring, it's a problem. And Olandria's like, hey, the thing is, I think they're two different things. I understand where you're coming from, which I love that. I feel like Olandria is very much like, has her head on straight. She's like, I see where you're coming from. Where I'm coming from, though, is that like, that was just more of like, oh, a kiss. I wasn't leaving our couple. I was exploring. And she's like, and the thing is, I thought we had something here, and you sitting down didn't mean that you weren't going to be able to explore. Like, even staying with me, sitting down and not getting up to go and say that you were interested in Cierra, you still would have been able to explore that relationship with Cierra. She's like, so if anything, it really made what it was assigned to me, you getting up, was that you were uninterested in being in a couple with me, that you were uninterested in me. And then I was like, I think Taylor kind of understood that. But I also feel like he didn't. I think part of me feels like he got up to kind of get back at her. Honestly, that's kind of where I was thinking. I feel like he was kind of doing it to get back at her. I think that she's definitely the more mature one out of the two. And she even apologized for her reaction. She's like, but you know what? I understand where you're coming from. They end up having a conversation later where she apologizes again. She's like, you know, I just want to apologize for like how I came off. But also like, this was information that made me noted, and like also like maybe I should move in a different way, because she was also thinking about his feelings. She's like, oh, I'm not going to get up and blah, blah. Like, I think she's like very considerate. And he ended up being like, he's like, yeah, I was a little bit upset, but you know, you already apologized. I was like, why don't you apologize? Why don't you apologize? Like, I don't think he got what she was saying. She's like, me getting up to kiss somebody did not say to you that I was uninterested in the couple with you. You getting up to try to recouple with somebody was saying that you were uninterested in the couple laying with me, which is the same thing Bella-A says to Nick. You getting up to try to be in a couple with Cierra is saying that you're uninterested in being in a couple with me. You know? Because you can pursue her while staying in our quote-unquote couple. That's the whole point of Loveisland. Just because you stay in the couple does not mean that you are locked in. So I thought that those parts were really, really interesting. Then Huda ends up telling, this part I think is absolutely diabolical. Okay, also just spoiler alert or whatever, just to know what you're going to get from me, is I have ADD. So we're not going in chronological order. We're going by like where my thoughts are. Okay, you're welcome. So Huda ends up talking to Jeremiah and being like, I really feel like we're like the parents of the villa. Like, we're like so emotionally mature. Is the maturity in the room with us? Oh, nope, it left the room. Sorry, Huda. Sorry, Huda. But so then she ends up saying that, and Jeremiah's like, "Oh my God, the parents of the villa. That's kind of crazy." Yeah, and I honestly feel like she said that because she was trying to test out to see if, how do you feel about being a parent? How does it, like, the word parent, like us being parents, sound to you? Because I have a child. Yep, she still hasn't told anybody about her having a child. And even Chelley, she ends up telling Chelley, she's like, I haven't told him and I'm kind of nervous. And she's like, what? She's like, the thing is, his response is going to be his response, whether you tell him now or later. And you want to know that now. Because, like, yeah. Because why would you wait to tell someone that you have a child? I don't know. Huda, honestly, and I know that I don't think she's like really dated anyone since her baby daddy. So it's definitely feeling like she is really looking for a stepdad for her child. And I just honestly, I do feel like Love Island really isn't for that. It really isn't for that. Not saying that you can't do that, but that's a lot of weight for what Love Island is, you know? Ace is kind of cutesy with Chelley, and he does this little like, oh, smell this, and gives her a kiss on the head. And I'm like, oh, you dangerous boy, because that would work on me hard. That would work on me hard. And he's still acting like he's interested in Chelley. But another thing that I'm kind of like, yeah, let's talk about this now, that I'm wondering about with Ace is like, is he keeps kind of like poking at Jeremiah. Okay. Because they do this, and one way that he does this is like, after finding out that Huda has slept with two people, when they do that whole game, okay, they do a game where they ask, pretty much, they like, the girls have to have a question and the guys have a question, and they number the guys number the girls and the girls number the guys based on what they think, where they rank in that. So basically, like, one of the questions was like, who has slept with the most people in a day, and they rank it. And Huda, they find out that Huda has slept with two people in a day. And she's like, well, the first guy didn't satisfy me. So I had to go somewhere else. And so after this revelation, Ace is like, but like, how would you feel if you were that guy, if you were the first guy? And she was saying that like, you didn't satisfy her. And Jeremiah's like, that wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be me, because I love satisfying a woman. And I'm like, I know that's right, boo. I know that's right. But Ace is like, but what if you were? And he's like, but it wouldn't be me. Jeremiah's like, but it wouldn't be me, because I would never let a girl leave without having her finish. I basically think he's saying like, he doesn't compute, because he's like, I know when a girl finishes, which I think there's a lot of guys that don't know when a girl finishes. So they think that it could possibly be like, they could always be lying. You know what I mean? And he's like, no, I like to learn people's bodies, and I would learn her body, and I would make sure she finishes, which I'm like, bet, boo. I mean, this is like the only good thing that I like about Jeremiah right now. Sorry, not sorry. And then he's like, but what if you were? But what if you were? And even, what did Jeremiah say? Jeremiah was like, that's a stupid question. And literally, Ace is like laughing. He just keeps poking at Jeremiah. And I was like, he does not like this man. Like, he low-key hates him. Then later on, he ends up talking to Taylor and saying like, but don't you feel like Jeremiah's like, the way that he acts is a little bit like love bomby? Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. Also, the way that he's so locked in, like, and that, and Taylor's just like, oh, I don't know, maybe he just really likes her. Like, Taylor's just like not about the drama. He's just like, I'm just vibing, and we love a vibe, we love a vibe. So Ace is like, yeah, but it's just really weird. Like, he just like won't look at anyone else. But also Ace ends up also bringing up, he's like, I think all of us need to be open to to dating other people. He's like, especially you, Jeremiah. And Jeremiah's like, I'm open. He's like, no, but like, do any of you guys feel comfortable walking up to Huda and having a conversation? And Jeremiah's like, what's the problem with that? Basically being like, try me. Why do I need to make you feel comfortable trying to get with my girl? That's basically what he said. And I also didn't hate that. I mean, I hated it more because I was like, what, is this the second day? That feels kind of weird. / like turnery / like aggressive / like controlling, So it felt a little bit uncomfortable. A lot of it uncomfortable. So, but all of these things that our Ace are saying, like, so let's put all of that together. And I'm trying to figure out, is it that Ace just likes messing with Jeremiah because he just like really does not like him? He's like, I don't like him. I'm calling him out. He's a love bomber. He's, you know, he's ruining the experience for everybody. He's being so weird, blah, 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 blah. And or is it that he likes Huda? And that's why he doesn't like Jeremiah. And that's why he's calling all these things out about him. It's not because he's really clocking him, or maybe he clocks him, but he's like, only reason he's really clocking him and really being like, he's a love bomber, he's this, and like trying to like, you know, trying to make him feel insecure is because he wants a chance at Huda. I wonder about that. And then there's like a third possibility, is that, does he want a chance at Huda, or is it more that he likes attention, he doesn't like the fact that he doesn't have access to one of the girls? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Okay, I would love to hear your thoughts. So that is Ace and them. Charlie ends up trying to get with Bella-A, and we're not feeling it. Bella-A doesn't seem to be feeling it. Charlie's not even convincing that he's interested in her. I'm not convinced. Okay, Olandria and Taylor are still like vibing. They talk about gift giving and that they're both like really love gift giving. And then you know what? It's giving friendship vibes. It's giving friendship vibes. Honestly, the beginning of the episode, when all the girls and guys talk about what happened, because literally basically every single man got up to say that they were interested in Cierra. And then every guy that did the girl wrong, like, you know, Chelley and Austin ended up talking, and Taylor and Olandria ended up talking, and Bella-A at some point, and Nick ended up talking. It was giving so like mature, so, you know, so above it, and also giving that they are not interested in each other. And like none of these people are actually interested in each other. They don't like each other. Nobody likes each other. Like I'm what I'm going to need to see. And I saw something like this on TikTok where I was like, I'm probably going to need to see somebody. We need to see a blonde bombshell with blue eyes, okay, come in, and a tall, dark, chocolatey man come in, and then we're going to really see how people feel. Okay, we need real temptation. Not Charlie, not Cierra, real temptation. Okay, because we have not seen that. We have not seen people who actually like each other, because I actually don't even think, I think Huda is settling because she is, you know, whatever. And she even clocked that she thinks Jeremiah is a love bomber. And I think Jeremiah is just in for the win. He's like, I'm just going to lock in now. Then we'll be like fan favorites, and then we'll win the money. I honestly think that that's what's going on with Jeremiah. And we also found out on TikTok that he literally right before this was dating a girl, left in the middle of still dating her, didn't tell her this, and was going to church with her. They were dating. And then he left and went on Love Island. He's just trying to win his money. So the biggest part of this episode, I'm probably missing something, and let me know in the comments. Like, we can talk about whatever I didn't cover in the comments. Let me know what you think. The biggest part is Huda finally going to tell Jeremiah that she has a child. Okay. And honestly, the way that she does this is horrible. The reason why I'm so emotionally mature. I was like, what? I was like, now you're really going to confuse him. And and she's like, well, I wanted to wait till I knew that I liked you. It's been 2 days. And that I could trust you. It's been 2 days, girl. And she keeps saying that. I just wanted to and he's like, tell me. And she's like, why are you looking at me like that? Why are you looking at me like that? And he's like, I'm spooked. And I would be spooked too. If anybody ended up trying to tell me something serious and they acted like this, I would be spooked. I'd be like, what the flip is going on? Like, are you dying or something? Like, what? Like, what? You know? So then she finds him telling, she's like, I'm a mother. And he says, at 24? I was gasped. Like, he couldn't even hide that he was like judging her. And he's like, how many kids? And she said 1. And he's like, okay. And then he literally like covers his face, and she says, look at me. And he's like, I can't. It was so dramatic. Because I think for him, I think he is a love bomber. I think he is using this situation. He's like, okay, she's hot. I can definitely stick with her for 6 weeks. But he's like, ooh, this has a different element. If I stick with this chick for 6 weeks and then dump her in the end, I'm definitely going to get a villain edit later because she's a mother. Like, this is a lot deeper. This is a lot deeper than what I signed up for. So I do wonder how he is going to handle this. You know? Like, I do wonder how he's going to handle this. Is he going to still stick with it? Or is he going to be like, gotta go, Boo Bear. I'm not interested in kids like that. Sorry, not sorry. Let me find a new girly, you know? But I think if he does end up doing that, this breakup is going to be rough and it's only going to be the third day. I can't. What do you guys think? What do you think that Jeremiah is going to do? Because that's a cliffhanger that we left up on. That's a cliffhanger that we were left on, is that he found out that she has a baby. What do you think he's going to do? Also, what do you think Ace is going to do? Do you think he likes Huda, or do you think he's just like, I don't like men like this? Yeah, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know what you think about the episode, or if there's anything else I missed that week. Is there anything that I didn't cover? Let me know in the comments. Okay. So if you like content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure that you hit the notification bell at the top so you don't miss any bits of banter from me. Okay. You definitely don't want to miss these bits of banter. I love these little chats of ours. Love you, mean it. Bye.